It's hard for me to know whether the things that I've experienced are on account of me being a black woman, or whether it's because I'm black, or whether it's because I'm a woman, or just because of my personality or who I am. Like, I had one professor, and I was wearing heels that day to class, and I didn't do very well on an assignment, so I said, hey, can we talk about this? And he said, you're either gonna have to take off your shoes or sit down because I don't like when women are taller than me. It's so bizarre to get told something like that. I'm very big on being like violently myself, right? And if I have to change who I am to accommodate a professor who is shorter than me, or accommodate a professor whose opinions are different than me, that's impacting the education that I receive, and it's impacting my ability to be violently myself.
There were like several instances of like microaggressions that like occur, like I wouldn't even say like weekly, like probably like every day at Princeton. It was my freshman year. The Princeton University swim and dive team decided to get like recycling bins and like wet like floor signs, dress up like scantily clad and like try to like imitate like some sort of like African culture, and they called themselves Princeton Urban Congo. Then that was also a time in which several universities around like the entire nation, like Georgetown, was like renaming like buildings, and there's still Woodrow Wilson's like legacy. So like there's always some sort of like intertanglement or like some sort of like engaging with like race here at Princeton.
I was confident coming in because I've always been a confident person, but there's sort of self-doubt that I think a lot of people face regardless of your background, and that was definitely there. It's just like your background is not a barrier to your success. In so many ways, your background is going to be the fuel to your fire.
My Chinese is crap, and I remember going into the Chinese Student Association on the very first day and feeling not nearly Chinese enough to fit into that group. Like this was a group that I could never possibly be part of. We had a single professor of Asian American history who had just come in with us as freshmen. It seemed like kind of a pie in the sky sort of idea to have an Asian American studies program, even though this had been a fight for the past 40-something years. It's in the founding mission of the Asian American Students Association.
What is your least favorite thing about Princeton?
Woodcock's chicken.
So places I feel uncomfortable, eating clubs. Super white, not very diverse. I was in an eating club for I think a month and a half, and I was like, oh no, that is over, done. There are eating clubs that claim to have a commitment to diversity, but it's still just, it's like these little pockets of Princeton that are like super duper white. I used to give tours, and after a while it used to like not sit well with me, because I'm sitting here so unhappy and I just disliking Princeton so much, and like going to like visiting psychiatrists and therapists just to help me get my way through. And then here I am like, oh my gosh, these are all of the things I love about Princeton. This is why Princeton is so excellent. Princeton is just the best thing since sliced bread. We're filming in the CAF right now, but it bothers me that this is literally the only space on this campus dedicated for minority students, and white students are still here. They have rooms here that literally say like Asian and Asian American, Black and African American, Middle Eastern and Arab. If you don't feel like you identify with that culture, why are you taking that space away from people who do? This university, this town is so painfully white. So it's nice to have a safe space kind of where you can just take a break.
University sanction like reprimands. There are certain things that like occur that like it's like this happens every single year. Can we stop? Several sports teams that will have Cinco de Mayo themed parties, right? And that's not something that bodes well with me, and I know that's something that really doesn't bode well with like the Latinx like community. Yet at least on my behalf at my 4 years, it's more so been like a okay, like we'll like tell them stop. It's not even like a how do you change that? It's like when are you going to change it? Because we've given you the steps. Like when I was like little, when I get in trouble, I know not to do that again because I'm gonna get in trouble. Why are people not getting in trouble for these things if they're hurting members of the Princeton undergraduate like body?
It drives me crazy that like we honestly have to make life or death decisions over whether or not we have time to get a meal with somebody.
Princeton so very much insulates us in a lot of ways from the pressures of the real world that it's far too easy and dangerously easy to get swept up in the moment here.
What is your favorite thing about Princeton?
20 minutes later.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on that one. I love the African American Studies department with all my heart. That department is my home. It does not matter what time of the day it is. It doesn't matter what kind of work I have to do. The people there are so warm and so helpful and so kind.
My friends here.
The friends that I've made here.
My friends I know will be like the next like Obamas.
Princeton is the most miserable place in the world to be with your friends. But it's the friends part of that makes it all better.
The ability to talk to people from such diverse backgrounds who are doing so many amazing things in so many different ways.
Any advice for students?
Find a good group of friends. Start your thesis early. Start it early. Oh my gosh. If I could tell you anything, it's start your thesis early.
Get a head start on your thesis as soon as you can.
Student Princetons get really bogged down with like grades. At times, it's okay to relax.
To think outside the Princeton bubble. It's so very easy to get caught up in everything that's going on here, be it with your studies, with your different clubs you're in, whatever else, that you'll forget about the outside world.
Don't ever like forget that you're here for a reason. Like someone saw something in you, like in that like admissions like office room. They were like, yeah, this kid, we want this kid.
For a lot of people, Princeton just never will be what maybe they thought it could be for them. But I do think that there are so many ways your senior year where you can still just try to go out of your way and just make Princeton what it should have been the last 3 years for you.
How can Princeton improve campus life for students of color?
I think students of color would benefit from mentorship, particularly from like professors, administrators, staff members who look like them.
Having faculty that can teach, having faculty that can mentor, having people that understand the experiences of marginalized communities on campus and beyond.
Awareness and understanding. Awareness that there's a problem, understanding what the problem is, and then transferring it towards allyship.
Have more robust diversity training. I mean, this is like one thing that we were advocating for in my sophomore year when we marched into Nassau Hall. You want to facilitate experiences and just make people have a good time on campus. Make sure that everybody understands what it means to be woke.
Any last thoughts?
I think I would have listened to myself more, which is why switching to African American Studies, like I've never been so happy in school. And so what if people ask me like, oh, African American Studies, what are you going to do with that? Like, I hate that question. I'm going to Columbia Law School.
I'm excited to graduate. Princeton, one thing they need to change is this whole like not walking thing. That's weird. We don't walk across stage when you graduate. We just stand up with our department and then sit down. Whether or not we do walk, whether or not we don't walk, my family's still gonna be loud. So it's like, you know what? Let's just make everyone happy. Call people out. Call people out. Say like efforts like Woke Wednesdays, like keep those up.
It's just like pretentious, pompous, like rich white kids, right? And so like this is what I came into Princeton expecting to find, and I mean, legit, that's here. But it's like also like there's a lot of like really cool people with similar backgrounds, like the Fly community on campus, especially now with SIFP's really strong. Like the Black Students Union in the past few years has also really fortified.